Welcome back to the Bop Stop, where today we have the top 15 EPs of 2022. These are 15 of the EPs that I liked. We'll get started at number 15. I have Junior Astronaut and Atlas Mo with Dark Bright. These are two hyperpop glitchcore artists coming together making a collaborative EP that's pretty cool. I think it's got a lot of interesting production. It's very textured, spacey at times, really neat, and I like it. The vocals aren't always my favorite, but there are a couple of tracks with some features which I think work out really well. So still a solid EP, pretty cool. Next we have Doechii with She Her Black Bitch. Maybe censor that. I don't know if I'm gonna censor that one. It's probably fine. We can say bitch. She Her Black Bitch. This is Doechii's second EP after getting viral, famous on TikTok, and her first project with Top Dog Entertainment, well, record label that some of y'all might know. It's pretty cool. A lot of solid tracks here. Doechii isn't my favorite artist. I definitely think that she's good. But there are a couple features on this EP, like Rico Nasty and SZA really give it their all, and I appreciate that. It makes it for very, very solid listen. So we have Claire Rousay, More Ease, and Bloodsboy with A Crying Poem. Talked about the ambient emo scene a little bit in my honorable mention of last year. It's a very interesting scene. There's a lot of interesting works there, and I think it has some really great potential. This EP is very solid, creates this general aura of sadness. I think is really, really cool, very interesting. One thing is I can't find lyrics for this EP anywhere, so I wish I could dive in more, but I can't find lyrics. So if you can find lyrics, link them in the comments below, please. But even without lyrics, it just sounds really cool. I really enjoy it. So yeah, check it out. At number 12, we have Lust Sick Puppy with As Hard As You Can. Pretty cool artist, honestly. You may know of them if you listen to Machine Girl. I feel they're very similar artists. Lust Sick Puppy is pretty cool. There's lots of really fun, catchy, energetic, fast-paced, glitchy tracks here. Just a really solid EP overall. Definitely pretty enjoyable. I would love to see a more ambitious project from Lust Sick Puppy, but solid EP. Then at number 11, we have Little Snake with Driving on Acid. If you saw, again, our year-end videos last year, Little Snake was very high up on my albums list with his debut, and Driving on Acid is very much a continuation of the sound from the debut, where it's this very experimental, very out there electronic, psychedelic EDM, IDM, experimental, all these sorts of things. Driving on Acid is you could convince me that it's B-sides from that album, which isn't a bad thing. It's still great. I still love that style, and I think it's very, very interesting, very boundary pushing. But I definitely would like to see Little Snake branch out more in the future. Can't just keep doing the same funky, weird thing. Even no matter how funky and weird it is, it will eventually get boring. But still, this EP is great. Check out the album too. But number 10, we have Cry a Lot with Icarus. Cry a Lot is the solo work of Kiro Benito's Sarah Perry, and she makes a pretty interesting project. Honestly, the production is really unique. She's mixing elements of IDM, metal, shoegaze, pop, all these sorts of things, and it sounds honestly pretty cool. It creates a whole vibe that's definitely in the same kind of darker vein of KKB's recent work. Really cool. I like a lot of the tracks. The vocals are great as well. Even when she tries to go into some deeper registers that are a little out of her range at points. Doesn't sound bad by any means. Creates a very interesting project, and I think it's worth checking out. At number 9, we're gonna have Salt with Angel, also known as 10. I've seen it called both, so I'm gonna call it Angel because it's less confusing. Because this EP is just one 10-minute long track split into separate parts. I think that there's some very interesting production ideas, cool riffs throughout the track. Salt on the production front has always impressed. All the vocals are done by Chronic, singing about his dead brother and kind of the different perspectives on that. It gets fairly personal, and I think it's an interesting look situation. A really solid track for sure. Number 8, we have Cohort B with 1001 Lukewarm USA. Cohort B is a experimental post-punk or post-hardcore group from New York City. And this EP reminds me a lot of Swans' early stuff, Filth, in the way that just reminds me of the griminess of that record. Cohort B is definitely like following that same vein, and their attitude, the instrumentation stuff, it gets that grimy feel. Additionally, there's a lot of just like standout tracks here. Like I think pretty much every track on this record like stands up on its own, and it's really great. Just a bunch of really solid tracks here. Check out Cohort B. Really cool EP. Number 7, we have 100 gecs with Snake Eyes. This was kind of a surprise EP from 100 gecs. It's just 3 tracks long, like 6 minutes. It's not a whole lot of music, but it is kind of like a holdover until the album. But even as a holdover, like these 3 tracks are like, I don't know, I can't stop listening to them. They're just like so fun. It's so catchy. Like I love the in your face, boisterous "Hey Big Man" blow out my car speakers every time it comes on. And then like Torture Me is like really cool, bunch of really interesting production, and then like the solemn vocals on Runaway I think are like perfect for the vibe. I really love these 3 tracks. They're catchy, they're fun, they're everything I want out of 100 gecs. You know, they're not like my favorite 100 gecs tracks, but like I love it, you know, it's super fun. Then number 6, we have G. Jones and EPROM with Acid Disc 2. This is a follow-up to their Acid Disc EP back in 2017. This Acid Disc 2, very cool. I like it very much. It's got a lot of like super cool drum and bass-ish EDM production on it. These 2 artists, like their styles go together like super well. There are tracks that are just G. Jones, just EPROM, and there are tracks that are collaborative. And I think that the collaborative tracks are the best on the record. They're the ones that definitely stand out the most to me. Although even the solo tracks are quite good as well. Pretty interesting record. Really solid production. Nothing like mind-blowing or anything like that. Nothing super experimental, but it's still like it still feels fresh and novel, and I appreciate that. Number 5, we're gonna have Burial with Streetlands. Burial is like he's an electronic music like legend at this point, given his 2000s work. The fact that he's like still making music and still this good is pretty cool. These Streetlands is 3 tracks long, and each track is like 10 minutes ish. So these tracks have a lot of like spaciousness to them. They have a lot of like breathing room, a lot of time to grow, to explore, and create these different atmospheres, which I think they do like super well. Each track has its own unique personality to it. There's always like something going on. It's never a boring listen. I think it's just a great solid EP. It's also like it's longer than like some of the albums on my albums list, so it's a long EP, but like it's, you know, 3 tracks really. Every track is great. Number 4, we have Fire Tools with I Will Not Use the Body's Eyes Today. Again, if you saw last year's list, you would know that I was a big fan of Fire Tools' last record, Eternal Home. This EP is very much, you know, continuing the same vein of this vaporwave-esque production with these screamed, like, death metal vocals. And it's really cool. Like, nobody's making music like Fire Tools. Nobody's production sounds the same way. All these samples are incorporated is very interesting, and the contrasting of the screaming and these very bright sounding production elements like sample 80s synth samples, stuff like that. Super cool. I think it sounds incredible. Even this EP here, it sounds even like brighter, I think, than other Fire Tools records, which is super interesting. Like it's still creating, like iterating on this sound. I know Fire Tools is like not for everybody. It's a bit out there, but you know, check it out, see if you like it. This EP is definitely shorter than like Eternal Home, which is over an hour long. So cool. Fire Tools, check them out. The number 3 spot, we have Asian Glow and Weather Day teaming up for Weather Glow. These are 2 artists that are at like the crossroads of shoegaze and emo, and their collaboration here takes the best of both worlds. Each track has its own sound. Each sound is like great. Asian Glow like put out like a lot of music this year, like a full length, and there was also an EP with Paranol called Paraglow. This Weather Glow EP is like definitely my favorite. Not that those other projects aren't bad, but like this EP is definitely just like stuck in there. Just keep listening, keep coming back to it, and I think it really has like a lot to offer, even for like such a short EP. So yeah. At number 2, you have Group Therapy with Truth Be Told. Group Therapy is a like hip hop trio of TJ Online, Swim, and Jada Grace. I wasn't like the biggest fan of their previous work, but truth be told, really just brings the band to another level. I think this is the best production they've ever been on. The lyricism on this record is better than I think their previous work. This EP sees the group actually being more like open, more vulnerable, more therapeutic. And because of that, because they're more open, the personality of the members really like shines through. Like before, I really thought that like Jada Grace was the only member with like a lot of personality, but like JJ Online and Swim really like step it up here. You really get a feel for each of these people, I guess. I don't know. They feel like characters because they're using fake names. So, but it's a great EP. Every track I think is great in some way. Like whether it be from the production standpoint, like a hook, or some open and like vulnerable lyricism. Actually, great EP. Love it. And then finally, number one is going to be Between Friends with Cutie. Between Friends, it just hit the spot for me. Just the vibe that I find myself going back to again and again. Dreamy, like pillowy bedroom pop songs. I like a little fun, a little bouncy, super catchy. Every track here, besides like the introduction and the interlude, which I think are a little unnecessary on an EP, but I can forgive it. It's like all just grown on me so much. It's just super cozy as far as music goes. It's like comfort to me. And yeah, I love Between Friends. I love the vibes. I think that the sound, the style, despite like being so similar to plenty of other like bedroom pop artists, like Between Friends just executes it so much better. Their production is just of a higher caliber. Like they have all the catchiness, all the dreaminess that they need. Love the CP. Check it out. I want like a full effort, full length from Between Friends. So we've gotten is 2 EPs, a mixtape, and a single. Please give me a full-length album because I will eat it up. I think that's going to be about it for this video. Those are my top 15 EPs of 2022. Let me know if you've listened to any of these EPs. In comments down below what you thought or what your top EPs of 2022 are. If there are any I missed, let me know. And yeah, hope you have a good day. I will see you the next List Week video.